This is John Paul Rai. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. Got a tweet here about a text that Amber Heard sent Josh Drew asking for a statement. Now, I'll get into if I think it's true, some comments about it, and the content, but I want to show you guys how Amber communicates. It's very, to me, in my opinion, childish. It's unprofessional. Those are just a few first words that come to mind. Maybe I'll have more after we read it. As we read it, let's get into it. So Fem says, words of my entire life. When interviewing, one small comment or turn-off phrase will and has propelled stories to a polar opposite coverage. So I find it interesting Amber Heard asked Josh and Raquel for a statement on this would happen and not did this happen. And it says, hey Josh, I hope you and Rocky got some sleep last night. I don't want to bother her on her big day, but the lawyer's asking for brief statements from you guys as witnesses so that she can file the appropriate way for a restraining order. Is there any way you could just write a brief statement, this would happen, and email it to her or email it to me and I'll forward it to her? Doesn't have to be a fancy or even well written, nothing like that. Just basic brief play-by-play of what you saw. I don't ask Rocky for it, but maybe I will later after the flea market stuff is done. So, could you guys please write me a statement for my lawyer after the flea market's done? And I don't ask Rocky for it. Is that correct? I don't ask Rocky for it. Didn't she mean I won't ask Rocky? I think she woke up with a hangover, maybe still a little drunk or high from the night before or something, and just kind of typed this in her cell phone. I don't really think there was a lot of thought behind this. I don't think what she did had thought behind it. And I've mentioned that before. I gotta say, we are lucky that she's such a little bit of a screw up with this case, because if she was actually smart and thought things out and wrote things professionally, then there would be a lot more of a problem proving what she did. But luckily, she just likes to drink, play Monopoly, and other things. If it was for a lawyer, if it's a really important statement, you could probably bother someone about that. You'd probably have to bother someone about that. It doesn't have to be fancy or even well written. Okay, if she doesn't want it to be well written for her lawyer, that's her prerogative. But you'd think, again, if you had some professionalism, you'd want something to be well written, especially going to a lawyer. And Magnolia says, translation, if he won't cave to my extortion letter, could you write something to back me up? Doesn't have to make much sense. It's going to be withdrawn soon anyway, because when I'll go to the media, he'll give me everything I ask for, which is obviously what Amber was thinking. Go to the media, it'll be over quick, and, they'll all believe me. Except for that, group of 30 million-ish Johnny fans. And supporters. And then people who were actually abused who jumped into that cause. And Laurel brings up a good point. Doesn't have to be fancy or well written because the lawyer will turn our word salad into something palpable for the media to munch on and spin it further for the public to gobble up and swallow. Yeah, that's a good point too. I would still think you'd want it to be well written in the sense that the lawyer knows what you're saying and the lawyer can get things right, so it would help the lawyer. But this is a good point too. Even if it's not well written, the lawyers will write it for them. Because it seems like Amber wants people to do things for her. And why is she closing up to Josh when it was Raquel who supposedly saw the most? Yeah, another good question. She seems really close to Josh, asking Josh things, and it's kind of unclear why. I thought she was best friends forever with Raquel. Funny how they will just maybe ask Rocky who would have been the only witness to the alleged assault on May 21st, 2016. So again, questioning, why is she asking Josh? And a lot of people, well done, great catch, that kind of thing. And there's a lot of great catches floating around on Twitter. All right, now let me take a minute to talk about Twitter and this case, Johnny versus Amber. Now I hear people say, well, I don't use Twitter. It's toxic. There's too many trolls. It's bad for you. And you know what? If you go looking for trouble, you go looking for a fight, you'll find it. You want to find the trolls? You'll find them. You want to find toxic people? You'll find them. However, Twitter is a great thing for sharing information and getting things out just like this. So without Twitter, we wouldn't have this here. We wouldn't have this clip. Where would I find it? Well, I could go to someone's YouTube channel, but a lot of YouTubers go to Twitter. There's Instagram. Okay, but it seems like that's covered a lot less than Twitter, just because of the way Twitter flows with the user interface, how you can surf through it, and things like that. Instagram seems like more of like this picture sharing platform. It's just not quite the same. Obviously, big celebrities on Instagram will get about the same amount of attention, but that's because it's just something they're putting out there in public, and whatever they put anywhere will probably get, millions of views. So my point is, if you think Twitter's so bad and so toxic you're not using it, keep in mind, we can share great things like this and discuss them, and there's no trolls here. They're, 99% Johnny fans using Twitter to share info and discuss things. You guys let me know what you think about this down below. Doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. If you're not subscribed here, I'm doing That First Heard, Little Manson, celebrity news, whatever comes up. And if you're not subscribed, well, I guess it'll be sad, but I'll get over it if you don't subscribe. Little mess up there, but I like to say, the beginning of the video is always more important than the end. Rant over. See you next time.